Good Wednesday to you, everybody in Gov 603. Welcome to week kabam 5. How y'all doing? You hanging in there? Hang in there. But let's get things started correctly. A little late afternoon coffee, much better. All right, I am now here for you, your sufficiently caffeinated instructor, with a preview. Well, I'm not going to preview because I've already posted the material, with a review of this week's material. But a couple of reminders before we get into the material for this week. First and foremost, remember that part numero uno of your paper is due this February 12th, which is what, less than a week from now. Okay. And there's a link over in the assignments folder where you can upload it. And then not too long after that, we have a midterm exam, which will be during the week of February 26th. Okay. So today is February 7th, and then, your papers are due on the 12th. And then 2 weeks after that, midterm exam. All right. Let me say a little bit about the midterm exam, and I'll, say this again, maybe in a week or so. I am not posting a review sheet for the midterm exam. The way to review for the midterm exam is to go back, read the discussion questions, make sure that you can answer and understand what's going on there. So, for instance, if if you saw a question in which I gave you a string of numbers, I'm just making stuff up. 7, 8, 6, 12, 13, and 2. And I said, what is the mean of this string of numbers? All right, you could figure that out. Well, bam, and there'd be, A, B, C, D, or something like that to pick. But figuring that out assumes that you understand what the mean is as opposed to, say, the median. So make sure that you not only understand the terminology, but can, do it functionally. Okay. And in that way, you will be well prepared and everything will go fine for you on the midterm. Okay. This week, excuse me, my allergies are just absolutely raking me over the coals. I'm sorry, I'm going to have to blow my nose. This week, we're taking a look at external validity, okay? Because, last week we talked about the importance of causation, okay? And remember, correlation does not equal causation. This week, we're talking about the applicability of what it is that we discover in the research that we do. Because, look, the whole point of doing a research project is to determine whether the patterns of behavior that you see among the people that you're examining is representative of the group, the population as a whole. Because, you can, you just don't, there's just no practical way for you to survey the entire population about, say, how do voting times affect voting patterns, or what's their opinion on a particular, candidate's position. You can't survey everybody. So what you do is you want to survey enough people, all right, that you can say, aha, what we're seeing in this group is also true for the larger group as a whole. Okay, and that's what we call external validity. So in the two chapters, chapter 4 in the two texts that you're going to read, that's one of the points of focus. And then also, again, just some operating terms. Excuse me. Know the difference between if you're looking at statistical research and you see a capital N, I think I wrote large N, but I meant capital N and lowercase n. Well, what does that mean? Okay, what's the difference between the two? Because you're looking at this as a representation, going, okay. And then how? And we've come back to this a couple times, but this is so essential to doing good research. I'm going to be hitting on it throughout the semester. How it is that you put together a hypothesis. Now, remember, you've heard this before, but I'll say it again. Hypothesis, an hypothesis, a hypothesis is actually one of those words that you can use with or an. Has three parts, at least two variables, and this is the really important part, a causal prediction about the relationship of the two variables, and a direction of that relationship. A hypothesis needs to have those three elements. Okay, and I'm asking you this week to take a whack at it and construct a hypothesis of your own after you read a couple of sample hypotheses. And then finally, when you're deciding what's the best, there is no this methodology is better than that methodology as a general rule. When you're trying to decide what's the best methodology to use to attack a study, you have two major categories. You have qualitative and quantitative. You need to know what that means. Okay, so that's also something to focus on this week and commit to memory. All right. So for your papers, again, I need to remind you that this is not a draft paper. This is not draft work. That the sections that you are asked to have in your papers need to be complete sections. And I know it's on short notice, and that's on purpose. It's number one is to get you to kind of hustle. When it comes to research papers or term papers, if you want to make it applicable to what we're doing in the class, there are two major categories for term papers: unfinished and finished, and we want this one. So it's a good exercise to learn how to get focused, get your stuff, and power through. Okay, so that's the first reason that this is not a draft work. All right. Secondly, I can't give you good feedback if it's draft. It's a draft material. So again, pardon me for repeating myself, but I need to make this crystal clear. If you send in complete work and you're not happy with whatever the score is, whether you're happy with it or not. All right. If you make the changes that I recommend and you do the things that I say, hey, do more of this and do less of that, when you turn in the second part, if you score higher on the second part, I will raise the grade on the first part up to that level. So let's just say you score an 80 on the first part but with complete work. And then on the second part with complete work, you score a 90. I'll change the 80 into a 90. However, if you send me draft work and you score low, and you will because it's draft work, I'm telling you right now, and you score low, no raise in the score when you score higher on the second part. Okay, so I am begging you, for your sake, for my sake, no draft work, because I really can't give you good feedback if I don't see how you work. Right. So this is meant to help you. Help me help you. Help me help you. Okay. No draft work. All right, everybody. That is it. Get into the readings. Next video, tomorrow, I'll talk about what you did last week, and we'll go over some of those answers and flesh it out for you, give some other resources to look at. Okay. But until then, have a fantastic week. Enjoy the readings, and I will see you on Canvas. Bye-bye.